Be the child always. It has to be in you. The one that can forgive, forget, and just pass over the subject. So, for example, what I just said about what Jesus said was a reconstruction of what he said. The same way we have to understand these things that we have to, we read. Abdul says if the religion goes outside of science and it cannot be explained, he says it's mere imaginations. So we can't have a religion and call ourselves Baha'i or belonging to any religion, but we have no logic, we have no reason why we are what we are. Then we're dogmatic. Then we're saying that we have no brain, we just borrowed from somebody else's brain. Or we never thought these things are useful. We became like a tunnel vision, we just went about the material things and tangible things and whatever we can see and enjoy. I forgot about these things. So many people often, I say in the West, that they have money and they keep having money and having money and having money, and that's the only thing they enjoy. They are like a gambler in the casino. The only thing about their money is to win more. But if you tell them what you're going to do with it, they have no idea. Quite honestly, if they want to enjoy material life even, just a horseback riding, it takes them forever to learn these things. Just how to use a boat, how to climb a mountain, how to go under the sea, dive. These things takes time. But they've learned only to enjoy one thing, go to make money for no reason and make everybody else poor, and you just accumulate and invest in an inheritance that enriches your children, and they're going to use your money and they're going to do a lot of bad things, which is all investment for you after you die. All the bad things that comes, it goes to your account instead of going to good. So Canada and the West is the idea of combinations. We have to use this pattern in our life. We have to have material, there's no doubt. All the enjoyment that we can get materially for the body. But we do have mind. And that is beautiful to know how do we communicate with other people. People of different culture, of different setup. These different frequencies of sound does not make us to hear things. The same way is the understanding. Two people are speaking English, but they don't understand each other. It seems they're speaking two different languages, or like two different receivers and with different frequencies of thoughts. What he says does not register in him at all, because we have not developed these other frequencies of thoughts, of patterns, how to speak to a young man, to an old person, how to communicate with people of different cultures. Can we actually learn from them? If you haven't learned anything from a different culture, definitely something is wrong with us. Because there are things to learn from an Indian, from a Chinese, from anybody, from a Finnish, from a Swedish, from a man from Argentine, from a Mexican, from an American, from an Iranian, from a person from Saudi Arabia. There are things to learn and communicate. So we do have, that means our radio is not working. Our receiver is not well adapted. We can't get all the channels. We're like a TV with just one channel, that's it. So, I don't know how lame it seems to you, but that is basically and essentially my view of the philosophy with no preparations. I'm just talking out of my heart. And that is how I found that the use of the philosophy and how to use this in raising our kids and our children. I was talking the other day to my daughter. I told her, Mona, there are many things that you can beat me because you are a new version. I'm just like Windows 95 in your XP. There are other things that I know more because it takes time to know those things. Because of my age, then I'm right. And you have to think, you have to understand that I'm older, I have experience about certain topics. But if it comes to computer or something else, simply I don't know those things. You know better. I have to understand as well to comply with what you're saying there. and try to learn. So we should not be discriminating against ages, whether we're talking to an old man thinking he's stupid or a child we're thinking that he's immature. That is not really the case. Often I learned my hardest topics from the most unlikely people. There was a problem, later on I'll talk about it. I was a Baha'i, but 17 years I could not understand how to answer one of the questions of Karl Marx, the great German philosopher, and that he's defining the matter and being. And one day I was asked a question by, I remember, a boy named Christian Gosselin. He asked me a question. I was in Cornwall, Ontario. He asked me questions about that first matter, whether it's composed or not, or pure. I just thought to try to respond to him, and I found the answer that I didn't know before that existed. And just I said, Eureka, I got it. Now I can tell you what it is. The boy was so happy that I found the answer. He says, what did I say? I said, well, you know, it's like a jigsaw puzzle. We should not convert each other. All of us are the pieces that we have to be essential and original. Together we become humanity. So there's no point that for me to come and convert you to be like me. Then if you are like me, then we have two pieces in the puzzle, one piece is missing. It's not going to make it. I just have to know who you are and try to enhance you from where you're sitting, from where your road and route is. I can't compete with you. You should not compete with me. You have to compete with your past. Compete with what you want, and you haven't got it. Don't compete with me. God has made us different. Look at our face. We're not comparable. We're all apple and pear. There's no way that anybody can become like me. If that was the case, his body would exactly look like me. Then his mother would be my mother and his father would be mine. If it is not, therefore, just the message is right there. Leave people alone. Try to study who they are. And your job is to communicate with them, not changing them, not converting them. This is the most insulting language. Get rid of it. There's no conversion. It's only communications, teaching, osmosis pressure. You stay there. You can't raise a child by telling him to do this and that and that and that, unless he asks. He's too close to you for listening to you. If he can see you, he doesn't need to listen to you. He will become you. Don't tell to a person what to do if he's too close to you. That is derogatory, because he would follow you anyways if you got anything for him to follow. Or from you, he will learn how to choose his ways. So the art of communication is very, very important, and the idea that we should not convert people. And the whole idea about the philosophy is to reconstruct, to read the Baha'i faith today, or Bible if you like, if you're Christians, or Islam if you're Muslim, and try to understand what it is said by God here. And be very careful, because just like nature, you might take it and it might be poison. The sickness is arrogance. You might read the book and you think you're better than others. That's a disease, arrogance. You might become jealous, and so on. Or see yourself as a leader. There's no such a thing as leadership among the people over people. The leadership is knowledge, the knowledge itself, the truth. And that is the subject. The subject is the leader. We have to go through it in the highway that God has created, which is His religion. If we choose to. If we not, you can go on the other side. Go outside of the road. You can go through the desert also to reach to the city. You can fly if you like. I chose to go through the highway that God has made. It just seems it's simpler and easier. So reconstruct the nature for the material use the same way we have to reconstruct the Book of God. So many books in Europe has been written after their encounter and crusaders with the Muslims. And it is all really, a lot of it is reconstructions of the Bible itself. You could say that, positive or negative. And basically, this is, I conclude today, and hope to talk again another time. Today, by the way, is the very tomorrow of the first introduction I made. Today is 28th of November, and my time says about 12 o'clock. So good night wherever you are, and we'll talk to you later. Thank you.